Morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning. Gonna be doing some shop car stuff, so I thought I'd kind of go over. It's been kind of a crazy week. We've got kind of a lot done, so a lot moved around. So I thought I'd show you guys what we've been working on. As far as custom cars and the welded chassis you see over there. So Mike's car, we got Mark is working on the front fuel cell mount now. Fuel cell sit up in there. It's a 4-gallon cell. Like I said, the headers are mostly done. I just got to put EGT bungs and O2 bungs in each one, so kind of have those marked out on there. Still got to weld the outer, the outer bullhorn. Got the steering column mounted. It's partially welded. The seat was in here, so I haven't had time to get up underneath there and weld it. Got a 4-inch extension on it. That way it moves it back a little bit further. Once you take this off, maybe if the steering column comes out. Anyway, you can climb in. The stub's all the way back here, so you don't have that thing jamming you in the back while you're trying to crawl in and stuff like that. So makes stuff a little easier. Got the rear end housing back up in it. Radiator mounted. I think I said that last time. Battery mount. Has 3 little stubs coming off here. They all have a bolt running through it, so it's pretty sturdy. It's not gonna go anywhere. This still needs to be bolted down and whatnot, but got that kind of in the place where it's gonna end up. Got the wishbone built, and it is in the car. So the rear suspension is pretty much buttoned up. Just need to go back through. Wishbone tabs still need welded, stuff like that. So we're getting pretty close. Just a lot of little stuff still to knock out. I know I say that every time, but it is a lot of little stuff. A lot goes into that. We have 650 hours in that car as it sits right now, so quite a bit. So yeah, that's the update on Mike's car. I guess I could give you an update on John's car. So I think come to the realization that if he wants to do well at like no prep, grudge type racing, that a 4-link is probably the best bet. After watching Samsel, he did pretty well with it, but there's just a lot of limitations to a torque arm setup on the street, or a no prep surface. So I think John's gonna 4-link it. So we're gonna have to cut out those bars that are back there. Most of them are just tack still, and basically make a full back half suspension setup like this. So we'll be cutting out the rear frame rails and just doing the whole normal Fox body setup in the rear of an F body. So we've wanted to offer that in the back of a Camaro, so this will kind of be an opportunity to do that and show, I guess, a Camaro back half rather than just a Fox body. So we also got Jason's new edge up on the chassis jig. So this one's going to be a 25.5. We are doing a tube style front, mounting his carbon front end and hood. So I think that's it on that one. So kind of a more basic than normal, but they're always good. It's always good to do something, a smaller job, not a 600-hour job. But yeah, this should be a pretty fun car once it's done. So that's it on that one. As you saw, this is one of our welded chassis. It's currently on its side right now because I weld probably 90% of it, like you saw in the video, probably 90% on the chassis jig where it's still, in place and not going to move around. And then the last 10%, which is all like I don't know. This X-brace to get up underneath here on the jig is kind of impossible. So we take it off the jig, roll it on its side. It'll be on its roof at one point, and then it'll be on the other side. So that way we can weld pretty much all the way around it. Make sure we don't miss any spots. He did get a anti-roll bar, so cups for that are on there, and the anti-roll bar is over here. So this is a Core Max 2-inch splined anti-roll bar, so we pretty much use that on every build just because it's so universal. It's so it comes in just set lengths. It's 24 inches and 36 inches, so we can cut it to whatever length we need, so it works out really well for us. So today I'm going to be working on the shop car. I'm going to be getting some of the tube front done. I don't know how much I'll get done. We had to fix some rust on the front here, which kind of sucked because there's a spot down in here. So this panel normally comes all the way down, probably here, but it was rusted out in there, so that I can't really shove a panel down there and weld it. So we're gonna patch this, and then we're probably just gonna weld this seam all the way back. I think it's a popular thing to do on stock Fox bodies, so it doesn't rust. I'm not really sure. I'm not great on my Fox body, I guess stock Fox body stuff. So that's what I'm gonna be working on the shop car this weekend. Hopefully get that done. That way I can pull this jig off there. We can kind of start figuring out. We can put the motor plates in, turbo mount, all that fun stuff that relates to the drivetrain. So yeah, I'll kind of show you what I'm doing today. I'll probably have it on like a time lapse or something so you guys can see. I know you guys probably saw in the background of all of our videos is my 2 German Shepherds. I know everyone likes shop dogs, so I don't know where mine is at. So that one is Maddie. She's 2.5 years old, almost 3, I believe. And then Maya is 3.5, so they're a year apart. Maya, there she is. So that's Maya. This is Maddie. They hang out with us sometimes. My wife's been working from home, so they haven't been out in the shop as much. But I'll bring them out here on the weekends or sometimes during the week. I usually get the time to play some tennis ball with them after lunch, so that's what they're all about when they come out in the shop. So they're pretty good puppies. they like to, get attention as much as possible. Maddie's pretty jealous. Anytime you give attention to Maya, she has to be right there. So, yeah, maybe you guys can see some more shop dogs in the future. But, yeah, I will, guys, keep you updated, and, they'll probably play around in the shop. Alright, so I got the front bars of the tube front done. I kind of have this jack under here. It's kind of janky. I said this last week, but this is a lot easier to do on a jig when you can support all of this stuff. But like I said, our chassis, one of our chassis jigs is over there being used. So this, if I press down on this, it moves the whole shock tower, moves this, everything. So that's why we have this in here. But right now the firewall is basically nothing, so there's a lot of flex. But I got those kind of tacked together. Some of it's welded. So now I am going to work on cutting a hole through here so we can run the strut bar through there. I got the strut bar bent up, so should be good to go. I had to trim these back a little further than I wanted to. So we're using these to mount the fiberglass front end. So those will be, there's a slight bend here, so this won't be, level. We'll have to take out some of this to get it to sit level, but to get this rod in here for the front end for this right here, I had to move this back some, so I had to cut it, move this. So this is kind of shorter than I wanted it to be, but to be able to run the fiberglass front end and basically have it to where we have a tree in the front like we've done on all the other cars, that's the only way that's going to work. So I'm going to get notching. I got to cut the hole in the firewall, or that little chunk of firewall, and we'll go from there. Alright, got that strap front done, or at least this side. I just have it barely tacked on just in case I want to change something side to side, but I think that's the final location on that. Maya's over there approving of what I've done so far. So I haven't really cut out any of this because I wanted to get this. I'll probably put a couple beads on this. This will get all welded, but I wanted to make sure this stays. This strut tower, the whole firewall is pretty flimsy right now, so I want to make sure this stays when I go and cut all that out. So that was part of the reason why this is, I wanted to do this first before I go in and do all that. But on the, you can tell this spot right here is rusty on probably 98% of Fox bodies. So there is a cap that goes over this that is part of this right here. So I took that off because I knew as soon as I got down here it would look like this. It's not bad. Probably put some rust inhibitor paint stuff on it, but it is rusty, so kind of sucks, but it's not terrible. There was some other rust on the car that we fixed. It's just how it goes with Fox bodies. So it is what it is, and you're dealing with 30-year-old cars. So I'm gonna get the other side done and probably get cutting on that, get the forward down bars. I think we're going to run some bars down, kind of like we did on Mike's car. Those are a little different because the strut bars are further out. So this way, we'll do the same thing. We're gonna have to make a cap type deal here, or we might land this on the tube going forward. So we might, we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know what we decide to do, but I'll probably make a decision pretty soon. And, I get the other strut bar done, should be good to go. Alright, so got this side done. Matches the other side pretty well. I got these pretty much lined up with the back of this bar on both sides. So I think we'll rock that for a little bit. I'm going to kind of want to figure out what we're going to do here. Now that these are in, I may be able to weld some of this, take this off, and kind of finish the top of that, and then run some bars down. I don't really know. Kind of want to do it like we did Mike's car, but it takes a little bit more work because you got to cut out here, and then it's got to get plated here. So I know there's some rust back in here, so it's going to be a little iffy on that. But I definitely want strut bars going down. I just don't know how I'm going to go about doing it. So give me a second and I will get some of this welded on so it'll stay without having to have that bar in there. and so it doesn't flex as much. I'll probably have some 4-bolt flanges here so that the K-member can still come out, because right now the K-member is fully welded in. There's no taking it out. It's connected here. So I'm going to cut probably here or so, 4-bolt flange. That way we can still unbolt the K-member and the front will still stay, you know, on the car. So we'll keep you updated.
Alright, out here working on the shop car again. Matt got the tube front done, or mostly done, over the weekend. We've still got the tubes to go from the frame rails down. Still got to plate that side of the frame. But I'm going to work on the strut tower tubes here. These ones going just like that. So I figured I'd show you guys a little bit of what's going on with those. These ones take a while. They just do. To get them to fit right, with the strut towers themselves, the factory ones, they need to be fit a lot. It takes a while. So essentially, being that these aren't straight, like they're not flat, you know, it's not a straight line. When you're trying to put a straight tube up to it, it ends up with like, okay, this part here will be longer because it's going in, so it's going to need to be longer to hit the tube. Whereas this down here will probably be shorter because it's further out than this is. And then this, we're probably just going to beat down to the tube because it's just a little bump. But it's just a lot of fitting. So it takes a while, but the end result looks pretty good. Looks like essentially what Mike's car does, because that's exactly what we did. We're doing almost exactly the same thing. I don't know if Matt's decided if we're plating the top and doing strut cups yet. I think he wants to, because we can't quite get the caster that he wants out of the adjustable top brackets. But anyway, I'm going to get started on that, and we will try and get it done. So I got the tube fitting pretty good. It's not as far back on the frame rail as I wanted, because I still have to trim this strut tower, but I just wanted to show you. So you can get the tube essentially fit where you want it, as long as your strut bar is relatively straight. because this is only going to move back about 1/4 of an inch or so, maybe 5/16, but I've got it straight up and down like I want it, and you can see it's essentially just going to be a game of take it off wherever it hits, pull the tube off, grind it, you know, just a whole lot of that. But you can see it's, you know, gap all the way down here and everything. But when this moves over, it'll close everything up. It'll close all this up. And then with this here, I'll probably just beat it down with a hammer or something, because trying to get that to fit is just, it's pointless when you can just beat it down and it works. So anyway, I will get to work on that. So we got it all fit pretty much as far as I'm gonna go with it on this front one. So in here, Matt cut it a little bit further than I did on Mike's car, but not a big deal. All I'll do here is just make a little filler piece to go in that gap. Essentially probably just bring it over kind of flat. But I think I still had to do a really small piece on Mike's car just so that we didn't have a big gap to fill. But anyway, it's fitting pretty good. Just got this little corner here that I'll just tap down and then that'll fit. But otherwise, got it fitting pretty good. So let's see, that took about 45 minutes, I think, to do that. So, you know, not bad, but you figure you got to do 4 of them. So, and that was, Matt had already cut out most of the front of both of these. So he hasn't cut out any of the back, just because we wanted to get the front fit and partially welded, or at least tacked. That way the strut tower doesn't move or do any weird stuff when we cut the back off, because otherwise it's just a real thin piece of tin that can flop and move and do weird things, and it's your strut tower, so it's kind of important. So anyway, you can see kind of what it would have started out as. This is the other side, but you know, we turn them back pretty far. This may be a little weird on this side, so they're not the same side to side. So this one, I'm probably gonna have to have the tube go over it and then beat this out towards the tube when the tube goes over this. That's what I had to do on Mike's car. It just is what it is. Can't be afraid to move metal around where you need to. So anyway, as far as the holes go on all of these, the previous owner had filled them all with body filler. So we knocked all the filler out, and I'm just going to come in here with the MIG and fill all that with the MIG welder. And then we'll grind them on both sides, smooth it all out so you can't see any of it. But other than that, for the bigger holes, I'll probably make patch panels, because that's kind of hard to fill an 1.5 inch hole with weld when you could just make a little patch panel and it would take less time and be less frustrating. But all the little holes will just be real easy, just to go around it once or twice with the MIG gun and it'll fill it right up. So anyway, let's get back to it.